You're watching College Football Game Night on Newswatch 12, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back to another week of College Football Game Night. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Peyton Manny.
And I'm Madison Marie. I feel like we say this all of the time, but I cannot believe another week of college football is already behind us. But kicking off our show tonight is the SOU Raiders.
The Raiders faced the Carroll Fighting Saints last weekend in Montana, and although they lost, the Raiders had great performances on both sides of the ball. It is just a matter of time before everything comes together.
Jake Regino had a standout game against the Fighting Saints, recording 16 tackles, a sack, and an interception. That was the first time in conference history a player recorded 15 or more sacks in back-to-back games.
And on offense, Blake Asciutto went 22 of 44 with 263 total passing yards, initiating a career high for the sophomore QB. Christian Greeny had 6 receptions for 79 yards, moving him into the top 10 of SOU's career reception list with 140. And Gunnar Yates recorded the longest touchdown rush for SOU in 4 years.
The final score of last week's game was 26-14 Fighting Saints, and as we just mentioned, they're really proud of how they've been playing, and they've been playing well on both sides of the ball. The wins will start coming for the Raiders, and it just takes some time. And the loss to Carroll did put a damper on the Raiders' season. SOU spent the week getting prepared for Eastern Oregon and their Mountaineers.
Right, and at practice this week, Coach Hall was in good spirits and knows that each week and each team brings new challenges for the Raiders. But the Raiders have a chip on their shoulder and are hungry for another win. Coming into the new week, the Raiders know they still have a lot to prove and there is still a lot to work on. Getting on the road again in back-to-back weeks is hard to do, and while the Raiders have a win under their belt, the Mountaineers do not. Coming into this game against SOU, Eastern Oregon is 0-4 in conference play and 0-5 overall. With Defensive Player of the Week Jake Regino on the line, EOU might struggle to make plays and put points on the board.
To be honest, we try to score every series. I don't know, we work hard. Our coaches do a great job of putting together a game plan, trying to find, mismatches. How do you hide your weaknesses? How do you, trying to showcase your strengths and things like that. So, again, when you look at last week's game, we didn't execute very well. We had turnovers, we had penalties, we were behind the chains. And so really it's just more about, can we improve our procedure? Can we improve some of the things that we can control, like turnovers, like penalties and things like that, and then hopefully we'll get those drives that we need and get points on the board. So again, I think that's really the key right now offensively. The defense did a great job. They got to play with a level of consistency and continue to play hard. And I think like I said, a guy like a Jake Regino is playing well for us right now. He's doing a great job, and I know he'll lead that defense.
Let's talk a little bit more about SOU's Jake Regino. He won Defensive Player of the Week after his standout performance, and not only last Saturday's game, but the week before that as well.
Senior linebacker recorded 31 total tackles in the past 2 weeks, making him the first Raider in the Frontier era to have 15 or more tackles in back-to-back games.
That's a standout player. And last week alone, Regino had 16 tackles and 1 interception last Saturday against the Fighting Saints of Carroll. Among those, 13 tackles were just in the first half alone, along with the sack. Regino's average is about 11.5 tackles per game and he's the best in the conference, and he ranks 5th on the NAIA leaderboard.
This team means everything to me. Those guys in there are my brothers, and they're pretty much one of the biggest reasons why I play and why I play so hard in everything I do. So, we grind out here every day, and we're here all day, every day in meetings and everything. So those guys are really like my family, so I pretty much do it all for them.
And today, Defensive Player of the Week Jake Regino and the Raiders met the Mountaineers at Eastern Oregon. It was a strong game for the Raiders on both sides of the ball.
And just a little foreshadowing, but Coach Hall was very happy after today's game.
The Raiders wasted no time and got to work early in keeping the first half all to themselves. The Raiders put the first 7 on the board. The first touchdown was scored by defensive back Marv Nyembo on the fumble recovery, scoop and score as the Raiders termed it. In the second quarter, senior wide receiver Bryce Goggins scored the Raiders' second touchdown, putting the score at 14-0. Then freshman Gunnar Yates said, "Wait, I want some action on this game too." Yates put up 2 extra touchdowns for the Raiders in the first half. Leaving the half, the Raiders led 26-0.
But coming into the second half, the Raiders had a little bit of a slow start, allowing the Mountaineers to score 2 touchdowns before they got on the board in the second half. The first touchdown came from a block punt, and the second came from a nice passing play. But Blake Asciutto and the offense drove down the field time and time again, with touchdowns from Champ Robertson and another from Gunnar Yates. The Raiders' run game was strong today, while the defense kept the Mountaineers to only a 2-score game.
I saw our team just be really kind of resolute in trying to get better and trying to, get beyond, and improve on what we didn't do the last couple of weeks. And that's finish a football game. I thought with the exception of that first fumble that we had in the first quarter, did a good job of stopping their run game. We got some turnovers from our defense. I like just the way that, when things didn't go well for us in the beginning of the second half, that we were able to answer that and kind of put the game away. So some really positives, to take away from this game.
The Raiders will bring home the win from Eastern Oregon today with a final score of 42-14 and keep the Mountaineers' season winless. Blake Asciutto completed 17 of 28 for 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. Freshman Gunnar Yates had 4 touchdowns today, and in his past 4 games as a Raider, he has got himself 233 rushing yards on 5.4 per carry.
And a great game for the Raiders today on both sides of the ball, but let's take a deeper look into that Raiders first half and break it down a little bit more. EOU's QB1 Andrew James scrambling in the pocket and deciding to run, but Raiders defense lineman Joe Man Wofford says no way. He gets the tackle and forces a fumble. On the fumble recovery, scoops it and scores for the Raiders. Termed it. Score now 7-0 Raiders in the second quarter. Now Bryce Goggin gets the Raiders on the board again with a reception. 14-0 Raiders. Still in the second, Raiders drive down the field quickly. And Blake Asciutto finds freshman Gunnar Yates. Leaving the half, the Raiders put up 26 points and held the Mountaineers 2-0.
It was a very strong performance from the Raiders in the first half alone. Blake Asciutto was able to throw the ball well today and find his open receivers, and Gunnar Yates was a dynamic on the run game. So with the first half being all Raiders, let's see how the second half went. Starting the third quarter, the Raiders leading 26-0. Eastern Oregon gets a fast jump on the snap and blocks the punt. George Bolowski picks it up and takes it to the end zone for the Mountaineers' first touchdown of the day, 26-7 Raiders. Still in the third, EOU with the ball again. Tanner Sweek finds Drew Reyes for another Mountaineer touchdown. But SOU says not so fast and answers back with another touchdown from Champ Robertson. Raiders back on top 33-14. Raiders with the ball again. Asciutto hands it off to Gunnar Yates, and Yates gets his third touchdown. And now with 2 minutes left in the fourth, Ethan Cutler gets a bad snap, and that will be a safety, adding another 2 points to the Raiders' score.
The Raiders are finally heading home this weekend after back-to-back road games. Montana and Western will meet the SOU Raiders at Raider Stadium.
And I'm sure the Raider fans are happy to hear that. Montana Western Bulldogs are 3-3 overall this season and took the loss to Rocky Mountain Battling Bears today.
And the Bulldogs lost to Rocky Mountain today with a final score of 41-26. The Raiders also lost to the Rocky Mountain Battling Bears. So this week's next matchup will be a good one to watch. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m.
Coming up, the Beavers met the number 12 ranked Utah Utes today. We'll see how they prepared for this game and look at those highlights. You're watching College Football Game Night. We'll be right back.
College Football Game Night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
Quality Fence is doing it right for you.
Whether it's residential, commercial, or industrial, chain link fencing is the all-purpose standard in providing security at an affordable price. And today's chain link offers you more variety, value, and durability. Get great ideas at qualityfenceco.com. Quality Fence in Roseburg, Central Point, and Grants Pass.
Quality Fence is doing it right for you.
Remove stubborn fat resistant to diet and exercise. Cool Sculpting Elite now features redesigned applicators to fit your natural curve, delivering 18% more cooling coverage than traditional Cool Sculpting, with the option to treat 2 areas at one time. Are you tired of stubborn fat resistant to diet and exercise? Consider Cool Sculpting Elite. Call Admire Aesthetics today or visit us online at admireaesthetics.com.
Don't miss Barnstormers Vintage Fair October 7th and 8th at the Jackson County Expo. Over 70 vendors from the Pacific Northwest, vintage and farmhouse decor, handmade goods, and more. Grab a bite to eat from local food trucks and have a glass of wine or beer while you shop. Friday from 4 to 8 and Saturday from 9 to 3:30 p.m. Kids 12 and under are free. Mark your calendars for Barnstormers Fall Fair at the Expo Jackson County Fairgrounds October 7th and 8th.
The difference between Soul Savers and other companies is we look at the person as a whole. We don't just look at that number, that credit score. Most companies look at your credit to determine what kind of person you are. Bad things happen to good people, but that doesn't mean they don't deserve that car. We believe that people are inherently good. They want to make those payments, they want that second chance, and they need that second chance. We just want to help them succeed. My name is Mike, and I'm the manager at Soul Savers.
We help each other. We stop at crosswalks and smile at grocery stores. It's people, everyday Oregonians, that work hard to make our state so great. It's not government. It's certainly not our governor. Name one thing that's better today than it was a decade ago. Roads, housing, taxes. My roadmap for Oregon provides real solutions. Lower taxes, better roads, and a more affordable place to live. It's time your governor worked as hard as you do.
Paid for by Friends of Christine Drazen, PAC ID 19050.
Welcome back to College Football Game Night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back. Oregon State had to quickly rebound off of the loss to USC and get ready for the number 12 team in the country, Utah. But this is a team that we thought Oregon State didn't need to be scared of by any means. Remember, Oregon State beat Utah last year.
Right, and the Beavs are extremely talented on defense, holding opponents to just 357 yards per game this year.
And the Beavs had to prepare for the Utes QB Cam Rising. The Beavers needed to get an edge and add some energy to their game today.
These back-to-back top 15 matchups can be a blessing and a curse. It's hard to get over a loss like the one the Beavs experienced last Saturday, but they didn't have much time to think about it.
The Beavers led the all-time series 12-11-1. This matchup dates back to 1931. But since the Utes joined the Pac-12 back in 2011, it's Utah that holds the upper hand.
He's a good decision maker with the ball. He's accurate. He's athletic. They run him a little bit. He'll pull the ball. He's got some great experience now. Knows that offense inside and out. You can tell that at the line of scrimmage, he's getting them in the right play. Can make it physical in the run game, and then the action pass. He's got all of it. He's a big-time player.
And it looks like Utah is going to keep that advantage. The Utes came into the matchup today ranked at number 12.
And it was a tough battle at the beginning, but Utah eventually ended up taking the lead, and they didn't let up. The Beavs in Salt Lake City, first quarter, no score, 1st and 10. Nolan back to pass, and it's intercepted by Utah. Oh my, this is going to be a long game. A few minutes later, 3rd and 4th, Utah's ball, Cameron Rising finding Jalen Dizzen for the 19-yard pass, and Utah is the first on the board. Still in the first, Beavs ball now. Chance Nolan hands it off to Bolden, and he'll run it for 29 yards and for a touchdown. First time Oregon State sees the scoreboard. Tied at 7 now, 2nd and 10. Nolan's picked off for the second time in just the first quarter. Clark Phillips, the third, will run this 38 yards and into the end zone. Start off in the second again, Utah up by 7. Cameron Rising running it in for 24 yards. He'll take off. Talk about a mobile quarterback in and out of the pocket, and there he is in the end zone. Second half now, 21-16 Utah. Cameron Rising to Vell. He'll take it 16 yards with a pass for the Utes. Touchdown, and the Utes will add 3 more to finish the game off. Oregon State losing this one.
Final out in Salt Lake today was 42-16 Utah. The Beavers are now 0-2 in conference play. Utah forced 4 turnovers, including 3 picks by Clark Phillips in the third. And the Beavs only scored 1 touchdown all game. Well, let's dive into this first half. Oregon State's quarterback Chance Nolan had a pretty rough start to the game, and that really set the tone. And the Beavs D-line struggled to stop the Utes run game as well. But the first half ended with 3 Utah touchdowns and only 1 touchdown and 2 field goals for the Beavers. Coming out to start off the game, and I mean exactly 35 seconds in, Chance Nolan throwing this interception. Utes used this one and scored their first touchdown with it, and that's only just in the first 2 minutes of the entire game. Buckle up because it's a long ride. But the Beavs did score their only touchdown in the same first quarter. Silas Bolden with the 29-yard run to tie the game at 7.
Kind of an everywhere type of first half for the Beavs, although heading into the second half, it was all Utah. The Utes came into third quarter with an 8-point lead over the Beavers, but that simply just wasn't enough. Oregon State will put 3 more points on the board, but check out this play. Utah's Bell with catching for 16 yards on this one and stretching into the end zone. He'll get the touchdown. Then back to Chance Nolan looking for an open man, but he'll find Utah's open man instead. Then intercepts this one. And then into the fourth we go. Oregon State 2nd and goal. He found that one, that's for sure. Bada boom, bada bang, back to Utah. Could it be that red uniform? Who knows? But plays like this is what killed the Beavers today.
A rough way to leave Utah for the Beavers.
And as we said before, Oregon State is now 0-2 in Pac-12 play. But it's all about the bounce back, right?
Right. Well, it's not going to be an easy weekend next Saturday either because the Beavers are taking on the Stanford Cardinal.
And there's some history here. The Cardinal is playing the Oregon Ducks today, so they'll match with 2 Oregon teams in 2 weeks. Stanford has lost 4 of their last 5 games, while the Beavers have won 3 of their last 5 games. Although the Cardinal have played 3 top 20 ranked opponents. The Beavs have allowed 37.8 points per game, while Stanford just allowing 30.3. Tanner McGee has 6 touchdowns on the year and 4 interceptions.
And we're back to Oregon State at night. Kickoff is set for 8 p.m. at Stanford Stadium. We'll keep you updated about the Beavs' preparation for this matchup all week on Newswatch 12 Sports.
Coming up next, we'll see how the Ducks are doing against the Cardinal and see how they prepared for their game tonight. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
College football game night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
There's a link between health, wellness, and a good night's sleep. Wellness? Introducing the all-new Beauty Rest Black, the sleep you've always dreamed of.
If you want a no-pressure shopping experience,
It's meant for mattress wear. Quality is not costly.
I'm Natalie Weber with the Oregon Department of Forestry. Last year, nearly 80% of the fires we responded to were human-caused. Throughout this fire season, it's important to know the current fire danger level. From low to extreme, each level limits activities that pose increased fire risks. By knowing the current level and following its restrictions, together we can cut down on the number of fires in our community. From everyone at ODF and our partner agencies, thank you for being fire safe. For more information on fire prevention, visit keeporegongreen.org.
You take pride in doing things yourself. You use only the best materials and products, and always seek the best values and advice. Quality is a reflection of who you are. That's why all your fencing projects begin here. Surround your home and family with nothing but the best. Surround yourself with quality. Visit a Quality Fence showroom today or online at qualityfenceco.com.
The best technology should make the world more beautiful, life more rewarding, and pull people closer. And the very best tech does all this without harming the planet. Timber Tech Decking, the best performing, longest lasting, and most lifelike look of real wood. Because the best deck naturally comes from the best tech. Timber Tech, go against the grain. Hughes Lumber Timber Tech sale ends October 8th. Hurry in now.
There are many things to love about living in beautiful Southern Oregon. New places to discover, sights to behold, adventures to embark on. And what better way to explore than in a new Chevrolet? Whether it's taking the scenic route to your favorite location, finding that perfect camping site, seeking out a new trail, or just soaking in nature's beauty, your Chevy will take you wherever you want to go. Test drive a Chevy today at your Southern Oregon Chevy dealers.
Take your taste buds on a tour with a Newswatch 12 Grapes and Grub Passport card. Enjoy 15 beverages or bites, valued at $225. Yours for only $49.99. On sale now. Welcome back to College Football Game Night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
Welcome back to College Football Game Night. Coming into tonight's game against Stanford, the Ducks were riding that high after their crazy win against the Washington State Cougars last week.
And because it was such a great ending, let's see those highlights again. It was a high-scoring game on both sides of the ball last week, and we knew that Cameron Ward would come out hot against the Ducks. And that he did. The Ducks were able to shut him down and hold him only to 2 touchdowns and also forced 2 interceptions out of him. Bo Nix finished off the Cougs 33-44 and threw for 428 yards with 3 touchdowns sprinkled in there. Coming into Wazoo, Dan Lanning knew the Ducks could not afford any mistakes against Cam Ward.
No, he's a good quarterback, right? Good football is good football, and he's got fast delivery. And we've talked as a defensive staff, he's like a shortstop at times, the way he's able to get the ball out really quick. But no, good play is good play.
But this is going to be hostile, and so it's up to the leaders on the team to be able to, if anything gets out of hand, and they're going to make big plays. We know that that's going to happen. But to be able to quickly right the ship and keep, stay level, right, rather than getting on the highs and lows like a lot of teams do on the road.
The Ducks are on a roll coming into tonight's game. They entered this week 3-1 overall and secured their first conference win. And last week's win definitely gave the Ducks that confidence boost they needed this season.
Oregon and Stanford have played some of the best games in the Pac-12 over the last decade and a half. The Ducks have won big games at Stanford, and they've had a massive wins at home. But they also have had their seasons get turned upside down by big upset losses to the Cardinal.
This season, Oregon is the only team in the country that has yet to give up a sack. The Ducks also hold the nation's 3rd longest home win streak, but it never seems to fail. These two teams play each other tough, and the Ducks will have to keep that in mind tonight.
Man, I just told the D-line last year, them boys stung us in a way that was acceptable, And I just told them, we got to have the same mentality we had in the past 2 weeks. It's really, forget about everybody else, what they talking about. We know we're the most physical team. We know we got the guys to do it. We just got to keep focused on the plan and stay locked in.
Again, they've had a lot of success, obviously, over the last few years, and we were able to hit on some of that history today with our team, and I think our guys are really familiar with, the success that Stanford's had in the past and have a lot of respect for that team.
And tonight, the Cardinal are in Duck Pond. The Cardinal may not look strong on paper, but like many other teams the Ducks have faced, they have playmakers. And the other variable all teams are starting to face is film is starting to stack up.
Right, Madison. And Dan Lanning made it a point to say that getting further into the season means that tendencies are starting to become more recognizable. The score of that game is currently 3-0 Oregon. Still in the first quarter. We'll have these game highlights and the final score for you tonight at 11.
And after the Ducks play the Cardinal tonight, they head into Arizona to take on the Wildcats. The Wildcats are 2-2 so far this season, and they're taking on the Colorado Buffaloes tonight.
Wildcats QB1 Jaden DeLaura is not having a bad season so far, but he also hasn't seen the Ducks defense yet.
We've seen good offenses pick apart the Oregon's defense and find ways to score, but only 2 teams have been able to exploit those mistakes on the Oregon's defense, and even then, really only 1 team was able to capitalize and make a win on the game, and that was the Georgia Bulldogs. Although they have had a slow start, Bo Nix is starting to find his way into the Ducks QB1 room on the season so far. He's at a total of 1,100 total yards, and he has thrown for 10 touchdowns. And although Nix is a huge part of the offense, it really helps to have a Bucky Irving and Troy Franklin on the team.
The Ducks are heading to the desert to take on the Wildcats on October 8th. Kickoff is set for 6 p.m. We'll see how both the Ducks and the Wildcats do tonight, heading into their game against each other next Saturday. Coming up on College Football Game Night, we're diving into the Pac-12 games that were played today. There are some cool highlights, so stick with us. We'll be right back.
College Football Game Night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
Oregon's best 2-day gun show is in Grants Pass this weekend. Rifles, pistols, ammo, scopes, knives, parts, find it all. Buy, sell, or trade at the Grants Pass Gun Show this weekend. Don't miss it.
Quality Fences, doing it right for you. Just ask your neighbor.
They reflect a style as unique as you are. They make first impressions. They provide space, add lasting beauty and security. Quality is a reflection of who you are. That's why all your fencing projects begin here.
Quality Fences, doing it right for you.
Remove stubborn fat resistant to diet and exercise. Cool Sculpting Elite now features redesigned applicators to fit your natural curve, delivering 18% more cooling coverage than traditional Cool Sculpting, with the option to treat 2 areas at one time. Are you tired of stubborn fat resistant to diet and exercise? Consider Cool Sculpting Elite. Call Admire Aesthetics today or visit us online at admireaesthetics.com.
Looking for high quality and low prices? Then Furniture Row's 4-day super sale is for you. That's 4 days, for the more you buy, the more you save. Save $100 on every $1,000 you spend, no limit.
You'll also find huge savings on living, dining, bedroom, and much, much more.
Plus, make your cash go further with 5 years no interest financing and no down payment. But don't wait, the 4-day super sale at Furniture Row ends Monday.
Newswatch 12 brings you Foodie Frenzy, where local restaurants offer our viewers $50 in food vouchers for half off. This Foodie Frenzy is sponsored by Grape Street Bar and Grill. Stop into Grape Street Bar and Grill for a variety of live music and entertainment. Enjoy our tasty food, full bar, and happy hour deals. Get $50 in food vouchers for only $25. Hurry, this offer is only on sale now until October 2nd. Go to kdrv.com/deals to buy now.
Oregon's best 2-day gun show is in Grants Pass this weekend. Rifles, pistols, ammo, scopes, knives, parts, find it all. Buy, sell, or trade at the Grants Pass Gun Show this weekend. Don't miss it.
Welcome back to College Football Game Night, presented by Quality Fence of Southern Oregon.
We start off Pac-12 play with a Friday night matchup. The UCLA Bruins and DTR took to the field last night to take on the number 15th ranked Washington Huskies.
Let me tell you, trying to cover all the fun high school football games last night and watch this game was a sport in itself.
That it was. This game was one you did not want to miss. Michael Phoenix Jr. taking the field for the Huskies in Pasadena. Let's start. First quarter, only 5 minutes in. 4th and 6 on UCLA's 33. Phoenix Jr. finds Rome Odzane open down the left sideline. He's in for a 33-yard touchdown. Huskies take the lead. Still in the first, 3rd and goal on Washington's 1. Zach Carbonet punches this one in for the touchdowns. Bruins take the lead 9-7. Now in the second, Washington down 10-16. Coming off an interception, DTR drops back and completes the pass to Cam Brown for the 15-yard touchdown. Extra point is good, and Bruins lead 23-10. Now in the third, 1st and 14, DTR again with the play-action fake. He finds Jake Bobo down the right side. Bobo slips a tackle, and he's in for the 39-yard touchdown. Wait, we'll tell you a little more about that playmaker coming up. 1 minute remaining in the game. 3rd and 6 on the Huskies 45. Washington with no timeouts. DTR with a quick pass to Hudson for the first down to secure the win, and the Bruins remain undefeated. Final in Pasadena, 40 Bruins, 32 Huskies. DTR 24 for 33 with 315 passing yards and 3 touchdowns. Jake Bobo with 142 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. This one was one for the books for UCLA.
Well, from one California versus Washington matchup to the next, the Cowbears were in Washington today to take on the Cougars.
Coming into this game, the Cougars had 1 loss in Pac-12 compared to the Bears' 1 win. Time for things to get a little weird.
Starting in the second quarter, Cam Ward hands it off to Jenkins and he runs 2 yards for the touchdown. Wazoo up 7-0. Skipping to the third quarter now, Cam Ward doing what he does best. And with the long pass, he gets Wazoo in scoring position. Third quarter, 2nd and 10, Cam Ward finds Robert Farrell for the 17-yard pass and a touchdown. Score is now 14-3 Wazoo. Fourth quarter, Cal with the ball now, 1st and 10. Jack Plummer goes deep and finds Jeremiah Hunter for the Bears' first down. Nice long play, good catch. Next play up, Jaden Ott picks takes the 2-yard touchdown run, scores now 14-9 Wazoo. 12 minutes remaining in the game, and Cam Ward with another long pass, but this time to Bell for 37 yards and a Wazoo touchdown. The Cougs will score one more touchdown and take the win home. And the final out at Martin Stadium, 28-9 Wazoo. Cam Ward, of course, had himself a day, completing 27 of 40 with 343 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, but he threw 2 interceptions. And Wazoo's wide receiver Renard Bell with 8 receptions for 115 yards and 1 touchdown.
What a game. And heading over to the hot Arizona desert, the Buffaloes of Colorado have not won a single game this season.
And they took to the Wildcats at Arizona to try and change that. That game started just a few hours ago.
Let's start off early in the first. Jaden DeLaura's pass to Michael Wiley is good for an 8-yard touchdown run. Arizona up by 1. Colorado coming up after shortly. Owen McCohen with this run for 1 yard, and Buffalo touchdown. They're tied after this play at 7. The current score is 26-13 Arizona in the third quarter.
And another Arizona school is in the house of Lincoln Riley. The Arizona State Sun Devils are at USC taking on the number 6 ranked Trojans. The Trojans are not only undefeated in conference play, but they're undefeated overall, while the Sun Devils only have 1 win under their belt. The current score of this game is 21-10. USC is leading with just a few minutes remaining in the first half.
Well, I told you we were going to talk a little bit more about UCLA's starting quarterback, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, and here we go. DTR went 24 for 33 last night with a 72.7% passing completion. And this isn't anything new for the quarterback. Coming from the powerhouse of Bishop Gorman in Las Vegas, DTR knows what it's like to win. So I think this is the best thing I saw this weekend. He'll step back to pass, but it's not in the playbooks. He'll take this one for himself. And no hurdle too high for DTR. Let's call him Air Dorian. But wait, it gets better. Running it in with the quick skirt. Boom, touchdown, Bruins. And Chip Kelly's quarterback is happy about that one.
What a day for some Pac-12 football, but stay with us because coming up, we'll recap some NCAA games that were nail-biters until the end.